G'day folks, Tony again here for more of the jaunty saunterings of Gaunt Bort the Taunter. Let's not waste any time, folks. Let's head on up and try and see if we can get into these caves beneath Red Rock and hopefully have a little bit of a better time than we did last time around, where we were done in more than anything else by my carelessness. I had not been terribly thoughtful in terms of ordering and sequencing of what to use when for our skills. So there's a certain amount of sort of prioritizing that I need to figure out with this build, which, as I've said previously, I have played this build on and off before, and it does tend to be a little bit squishy. But thinking back on what happened previously, I believe that I'd gone to do a... hang on, I'll bring up the ability screen here. I'd gone to do a life drain to try and get some hit points back. And what I clearly should have done first was boosting the toughness to bump the hit point pool up in the first place, and that would actually give me more capacity to drain health from another character. Anyway, live and learn. Let's have a really quick look at how we're kitted out here. So we've got a reasonable amount of gear in a bunch of different areas. Got ourselves a musket equipped and a bronze dagger as well. It would be nice to get a slightly better weapon there in the right hand. We're just going to have to take it as it comes. I also need to remember to actually reload that musket each time after I use it. Something else that I'm thinking I might try and do here, and we don't really have the stuff for it yet, but I'm going to keep my eyes peeled for some armor that possibly has a more substantial armor value, perhaps even at the expense of some dodge value, because the dodge value is handy in some ways, but in a number of others, it really isn't that useful. Particularly when you end up in a slugging match. Yes, particularly when you end up in a slugging match with some tough melee opponents. So the bullet went astray there, and I ended up hitting the kudzu instead, which I guess isn't all that bad. What have we got here? What have we got? It looks like a cave spider up there. Hello. They can tend to leave you alone until you go harassing them, so we'll see how that goes. Is there anything here that we want to pick up? Not particularly. I'm going to be quite wary of grabbing too much stuff, so I might try preferencing, things that are beaded or engraved or otherwise fancy, and also iron or particularly steel weapons if we happen to find any, and of course anything else unusual that we find along the way. Just going to find a spot here where there's nothing in line of sight so we can do a rest until healed. And now we might see if we can take care of this cave spider. I'm very, very mindful of only having 12 hit points in our hit point pool. Ooh, look out. And now might be a good time to boost that toughness with the with this warrior right nearby, because they can be a little bit tricky, particularly with that iron mace that they have equipped. So now's probably a good time to use Sundermind. Seems like a prime candidate to just try and wear them down a little bit. Proving somewhat tricky to hit. All right, that didn't end up too bad. Iron mace, 4 penetration, 2 damage. How does that compare with what we've got at the moment? Pretty much of a muchness. I mean, it is going to guarantee us a hit of 2 each time we hit. However, what have we got happening? Strength 16, no bonus on that. Oh goodness, these things that I keep forgetting. The assigning of extra points, particularly the attribute points. I said I was going to remember it, and I still haven't. Right, so to make this decision, let's open up our skill tree here. I'm just going to minimize all of these things that are currently expanded because I already have things allocated in them, just so you can get a better sense of the options that are available here in terms of the broad headings. Ideally, I think we're probably going to want to continue with the short blade expertise. As you can see there, it's heavily agility focused. And certainly with the build that I have, agility does seem to be a good one to run with. But intelligence also for tinkering, I think, is important. And you'll notice there that 17 intelligence allows laying of mines, setting of bombs, repairing and deploying turrets. But then particularly getting that first tinkering level requires 19 intelligence, which would be very handy. So some other wayfaring abilities there at 17 intelligence as well. There's also all the way down here, hang on, we'll do this one first. There's tactics down the bottom here, which can be quite handy, particularly this Duke ability, which does, I believe, if I remember correctly, synergize with some of the short blades. Where was it? I think it might have been pointed circle. Whenever you juke an opponent while wielding a short blade in your primary hand, you make a free attack, which is also kind of handy, particularly if you also have bloodletter, because that's a guaranteed bleed. So there's lots of different things that cross over here. Of course, it's now a matter of, well, we only have one attribute point to pump into something. What's going to be the best thing for it? Repairing, deploying turrets, laying mines. I mean, that's all handy, but is it the best thing for us to be using at the moment? That's an excellent question. I'm so glad that I asked it, and I don't actually have an answer. There's also the option of willpower here as well. I believe willpower affects cooldowns on abilities. So the bigger the bonus in willpower, the more capacity there is there for cooldowns to be shorter. So these bonuses that you can see in the brackets here, 0, +3, -1, etc., they tick on even numbers, I believe. So if we were to put one more point into agility to bring it up to 24, I believe that would increase the bonus, I think. Whereas most of these are on evens, so taking them to an odd isn't actually going to increase the bonus on it, but it might unlock some of those abilities, sort of the ability tiering. Anyway, all that blabbering aside, we need to decide what we're actually going to do. And at this exact point in time, I don't think we need more ego boost for our mutation levels. You can see over here, these all have a 2 in the brackets after them. And part of that is a bonus. As you can see in green down the bottom, this mutation's effective level is increased by 2 due to your high ego. I don't think I need to buff that too much at this stage. Strength might also be handy for some of the actual hitting that we're doing. But this toughness thing, I'm curious. We've got a -1 modifier there at the moment. That's clearly affecting our hit point pool. Pumping another point into it to bring it to 15 won't do anything immediately, but getting it to 16 will eliminate that -1 penalty. And if I recall correctly, adjustments to those modifiers sort of reverse causality can actually re-affect your hit points, so they're recalculated based on your bonus. I might be misremembering, but I'm not sure. Maybe there's a way to find out. I think that might be what we do. I'm going to bump that up by 1. And indeed, it has just bumped the hit points slightly, so that's good to know. Might be worth it in the long run, because even as we're leveling up, if we don't have the right gear to keep ourselves protected, that could still be a problem. Okay. So after that long protracted talk, you can see that we're approximately four squares from the stairs that we came down. So I'll try and do a little less talking and a little more caving. Nice shot. So keeping in mind, because we're an Archanaut, moving through those rubble piles is going to give us the potential of being able to pick things up. Let's have a look at this painted bronze dagger. It's probably going to tell us something about a sultan. It is indeed. This item is painted with a scene from the life of the ancient sultan Jaunty. So it's good to know. That will possibly give us a thing to visit. No, just some history, which is also handy, and that painted thing will probably sell for more than other things ordinarily sell. All right, we have some studded leather armor. That might actually be worth trying, because as you can see, it's going to give us a bonus of 3 armor at the expense of -2 dodge. However, given where we're currently at, that mightn't be such a bad idea. As you can see in the top right hand corner, armor value 3, dodge value 13. So we're going to go in here and we're going to pop it in to the body slot. So that was previously a 1-2, is now going to be a 3 -2. So now we have an armor value of 5 and a dodge value of 9. We might roll with that and see how it goes. So you can see there are a number of these kudzu around here. I definitely want to try and steer clear of being adjacent to them, because they have the ability to rust your items, which is not what we want. So we're going to do a get adjacent using Control G and picking a direction. We've got a burnous there, which is going to give us a dodge, and I don't think we have anything on our back at the moment. No, we don't. So we can probably equip that, and we should be good to go. Let's put our dodge back up to 10, and that feels pretty good. I forgot to reload the musket again. So let's see if we can actually take this thing out with some musket shots. It's probably difficult because of the angle that we're at, but at the moment we have that kudzu, and then this one up here. We're actually blocking our ability to head to the west. And there's another one, just to keep things interesting. Oh, nice. First go. Now, I believe I heard there's somebody with a bow over here as well. Where are they at? Here we go. Let's try and take care of these quickly. And here's another one as well. Nice. Okay, we've got a chameleon up there, and that, if you recall, is actually what killed us last time. So let's try doing a Sunder Mind. We don't have a toughness boost there for another 93 rounds. We're about halfway through the 200 round cooldown. So I'm going to try the Sunder Mind on the chameleon, and that's got that taken care of, so hopefully we will be okay. All right. Hand axe there. What are the stats on that? 1d2, 4 penetration. That's pretty much identical to what we're currently using. An iron short sword. That looks like the kind of thing that we're looking for. Going to take that slender woven tunic. I believe slender is going to indicate that it weighs less than usual. Yes, it does. So even more reason to carry it and potentially have something to sell. Now, this iron short sword, 4 penetration 1d3, is going to be better than the thing that we currently have. I could just be equipping these automatically, but I just want you to have the opportunity here to see what happens here when we swap things out. So we're going to auto-equip that in the right hand. It's popped another bronze dagger back in here. So in theory, we're going to be better off with that. Do we have the musket reloaded? We do. Don't need that hand axe. We might just head to the north first. Another burnt capacitor, so that's nice. In terms of the sort of general vibe and layout of this cave, you can see that it's different from the last one that previous Gaunt Bort encountered, which was full of mushrooms almost to a fault. In this case, there tend to be sort of slightly larger and more openly connected rooms in this cave than what I generally tend to see when I'm playing. Let's not go that way. Try and avoid kudzu adjacency as much as we can, and I also don't want to spend a ton of lead slugs on that sort of thing. Oh damn! Speaking of which, all right, we're going to see if there's another way around, even though it might be a little tedious. Just want to try and stay clear of these things where we can. You do have to maintain your concentration. It's very easy to accidentally walk past something without meaning to. Now again, I'm not a super experienced sort of expert in playing this game by any stretch. However, generally, rather than these kudzu on the walls in this cave, it's quite typical to see jilted lovers on the wall. You may end up seeing those further down. We also just got a giant centipede kill there. I tend to like giant centipedes in these early stages because they're relatively, I find, relatively easy to kill, and they do give you 50 experience points a pop, which is not too shabby. Let's see if we can get through here. Appears that we can. Some snapjaws maybe to take care of. Ooh, chainmail. What's that going to give us? 3 and -1, which I think is probably a better trade-off than what we currently have. Also going to grab that iron mace because that's not too shabby as well. So 5 and 10 for armor and dodge. If we were to swap that, it would end up in 5 and 11, which is absolutely a good trade. A good trade-off, I should say. We're not actually trading anything with anyone. All right, while we're next to this fire, let's make a meal. See if that makes us bloated. It doesn't, all right. So quenched and sated, you can see in the top right, immediately underneath the experience points. Sometimes you can overeat. I'm not quite sure what that does. I think that might have been something that I looked up a number of months ago when I was playing. But I'm afraid that I can't recall the answer. So maybe that's one for you to look up in a wiki somewhere. Iron longsword is probably also not too bad. But a longsword also, of course, not being under the short blade set of skills. Lacquered iron mace. So lacquered, I believe, means that it is not able to rust. Yes. So things like the kudzu there would not be able to make that rust if it were something to hit. This studded leather armor, I can't remember how much it sells for, but it weighs 20 pounds, so generally not something that you want to carry around a lot. Speaking of which, I might actually drop that, seeing as I'm not wearing it anymore, because it is an awful burden weight-wise. Now, I just covered all of those things in blood. Oh man, I'm still bleeding. That's bad. What am I bleeding from? What happened? What made me bleed? I can't recall. All right. This is why we have bandages, folks. So let's get that happening. We're going to apply a bandage. That should hopefully stop the bleeding on the next tick, or on this tick even. That's good. Why was I bleeding? Normally when I bleed, it's because I get hit by a young ivory, and they can be just an absolute nightmare with a low hit point pool. Hello, bat. Are you hostile? No, you're not. All right. Okay. So we still haven't found the stairs down yet, which we certainly need. Ow, I keep getting hit by everything. I seem to be taking hits, or I feel like I'm taking hits more than I usually do. I'm actually wondering if that's because the dodge is slightly lower than it has been in the past. Right, we already have a leather cap. Probably want to take that masterwork dagger. This weapon scores critical hits twice as often. That's handy to know. I wonder if that's actually worth using instead. See, this is where I get lost in the math weeds. I don't know how the math works on these sorts of things, but for the sake of argument, let's just try giving that a go, and we'll see if it feels like it's making a difference. More wooden arrows. Might grab that water skin. Always good to have something to carry extra fluids in. And another one. A bronze two-handed sword weighing 9 pounds. I'm already carrying 203 of 240 pounds. And I know how much the corpse that we'll be carrying out the bottom of this cave, if we succeed, will weigh, and I don't want to have to be dumping a bunch of stuff just to pick it up. Alright. What else have we got in here? Burnt capacitor. Nice. How much are these scrap pieces weighing? They can really start to add up after a bit. Oof. That's because I'm carrying 7 of them, I guess. Perhaps something that I want to remember to dump into a chest when/if we successfully return to Joppa. Bark armor. That's not worth it. Okay. Hello. Yay! Level 4. We did it. That gives us another mutation point. Still only got 1 hit point, but it's better than nothing. Even 1 hit point in these early stages is a substantial percentage increase. Jewel encrusted furs. That makes sense. What's this going to do for us? This item is much more valuable than usual and grants the wearer a +100 reputation with water barons. Love it. A huge pile of stinking lice-infested animal hide that's encrusted with jewels. Beautiful. Truly beautiful. An iron dagger, 1d3. That's worth grabbing as well, I believe. Okay. I think it's fair to say, even though it's still definitely early days in this cave, this is going better than last time. But to be honest, what wouldn't be what wouldn't be better than last time? I wonder if we're going to find these stairs without having to try clearing out some of these. It doesn't look like it's going to happen. We're going to have to start shooting some of these kudzu to find a way through. That one's going to require me to shoot 2 of them, yes, to get through, so we won't do that. In fact, we might try heading back down this way so that we can get a reasonably clear shot at that, which is probably going to kill it straight away, and it did. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. This is rigged. I mean, I could just wade in, but I kind of don't want to. Even though none of the gear that I've got at this point is you know, indispensable, it's still in principle not nice to lose things to rust. Oi, what? That was a bad time for me to do a quick double move as I was heading towards that trash pile. So somebody threw a stun gas grenade at us. Clearly one of these snapjaws. Thankfully, it doesn't seem to have stunned us yet. So average, and easy. Okay. So what do we go about doing first? I think the first thing I'm going to do is try and get clear of where that gas is going to go. Good. I'm going to boost our toughness while we're in this fight. And I'll start with shooting at that brute. Then in fact, I think the next thing I might do is I'm going to pop the force bubble to push them away from us. And I'm going to use this opportunity to reload and shoot the musket a few times. and try and take these tougher enemies down without having them go toe-to-toe with me. Nice. That might do for now. I think we can probably take out that normal one ourselves. Iron battle axe, 1d2 plus 1, 5 pounds, not worth it. Just want to make sure that we don't end up with that stun gas hitting us. Don't think it's going to be too much longer. There we go. And now we should be able to take care of this standard snapjaw. Nice and easy. Good, good, good. Nothing in the garbage pile. Where are the stairs? Where'd that arrow come from? I was looking at the wrong part of the screen. There we go. And a bear. Why not? The more the merrier. Is that bear actually hostile? Let's have a look. It is. All right, cool. Take down... Oh, yeah, nah. Force bubble has a little bit to go. All right, I'm feeling nervous here. I'm actually going to activate the sprint so that we can try and get clear of having two things hitting us at once. Really what we want to do is we want to try and get away from that bear back into this corridor so that we're only having to worry about one thing hitting us at a time. That centipede is probably not going to cause us too much grief, so I'm going to try Sundermind on the bear. That's taking care of that. Also going to do Life Drain on the centipede. And we should be able to take it down, which is great. And done. Nice. All right. What does that leave us with? We've not got all that many other rooms left to investigate. A couple of piles of trash here to rummage around in. Nothing really happening there. Make sure we don't go near that. Are you kidding me? Look at all these things. They're everywhere. Nothing in that pile. Alright then. Head back up this way. Can't be all that many more places to look, really. Where haven't we checked? Ah, I see. Over here. Make sure I don't hit things I'm not supposed to. Hey, hello. How's it going? So pleased you could join us. Nice. Let's just do a rest. Okay. So I believe there's a corridor up here. There is indeed. Ah, look at that. That's odd. I don't generally tend to find stairs in corridors. That's cool. What have we got? A lacquered iron mace, iron battle axe, a worn burnous. Already wearing one of those, aren't we? Yes, we are. A couple of trash piles, a bent metal sheet. Nice. A nothing and a nothing. All right. Let's head down a little further. What have we got waiting for us? Oh, a whole bunch of things. Rusty red rock, level 2. And immediately nearby we have 2 snapjaws. We have a seed-spitting vine. And we have 1 jilted lover that's right next to us. So this is the horrifying conundrum that awaits us when we come back for the next part of the Let's Play, because we're all out of time. But thank you so much for watching. If you're enjoying this, please give the episode a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel so you can be notified when other episodes are released. And more than anything else, please, please, please tell a friend if you think they might enjoy this. And come back again soon for more of the jaunty saunterings of Gaunt Bort the Taunter.